Dudes with attitudes, let's go. Welcome to the pod every Wednesday, back to represent. Two dudes with attitudes, yeah, here comes the main event. Every week it's the dudes from the east and the west, breaking down everything you've seen and the best of the best. Came together on TikTok, hit it off from the jump, now they never gon' stop. Shooting star, PRS, you can hit the follow. My wrestling opinion is someone you should all know. And they call him MWO, yeah, it's rich on the flow. And I thought you should know, two dudes in the mood that be dropping the jewels. This is not for the fools, this is just how we do. Talking WWE, no one is touching the team, cool. Calm, collected, the methods will be. You can hit the 5 stars when it's time to rate on whatever platforms. Two dudes, get it straight, yeah.
What is going on? Welcome to another episode of Two Dudes with Attitudes, WWE edition. It was exciting. We're back to doing all 3 shows again. We ain't skipping no more. We don't leave them, hanging anymore. Right. NXT is too good to be hanging. And Wolfpack, what's going on? As always, I am Mr. MWO. And with me, as always, is the Ginger, the king of them all, Mr. Shooting Star Press. What's going on, my dude?
Oh, I am sitting in my children's bonus room, and it feels like a sauna in here.
They got a bonus room. I like it.
Or it's a playroom, but yeah, it is currently 85 degrees upstairs in my house because our air conditioning is out. So I'm a little grouchy. Our children have been sleeping downstairs with us, so I'm a little grouchy. I'm a little tired because they hog the bed and you're not comfortable and you're restless all night. And then here I am doing this podcast, and you're probably gonna see me doing this sweat. And but I do the things for the Wolfpack. I do it all for the Wolfpack.
Oh, let's go, go, Wolfpack. We got to get it going too because we got 2 episodes to do, and you're gonna be falling asleep anytime soon. So let's get it. And it's all my fault because. Now since we're doing it all, AEW, NWD, that's 12 hours of wrestling. We got kids, we got jobs. I'm like trying to fill it all in, take notes, do all this. That's a lot. But anyway, let's get this party started. It's SmackDown time, Mr. Shooting Star Press, the honorary dude himself. You popping it up. Let's wait for this.
Here we go.
There you go. And SmackDown, Raw, and NXT, I liked it all. Once again, we have a good segment coming up, and we're going to pay tribute to how great this has been lately. But I want to start off with something that you made me so mad with, and I didn't want to talk to you about this because I don't want to start beef with my bestie, with my sidekick, with my brother. But there was what was it? I forget what show. Oh, How I Met Your Mother. Of course, they're going to bring it up, and there's an episode where they bring up that like Lily chews really loud, and then all of a sudden Marshall hears it and he cannot stop hearing her chew loud, and that freaking Barney does the high when he lies, like high voice or what, I forget what everyone does. I think Ted corrects everybody's like grammar and statements, and then they can't, like, they get sick of it, right? So
and Robin says like, but
So you last week, I was so excited, praising how well they have made the IC and the US title just feel so damn important. And then you come up and tell me how Austin Theory's US title reign has been meh. And I was like, no way. He's had it forever. He's getting pushed. He recovered from the briefcase, and then I realized it. It like triggered me. And this week when I watched it, he went on and fought Sheamus, and he got another big win. He's beaten Cena. He's beaten Sheamus. He's beaten Lashley. He has beaten some of the biggest names in this biz. And yet after the match, I was like, meh. It just hit me like, let's see, ZWC. What's up, dude? CWC Sports. Good old Robin and her bottom. Hey, we got more How I Met. I'm telling you, we got to do a second podcast since we have so much time.
We do, man.
Let's do it. Let's do a How I Met Your Mother podcast.
Wait for it. Dairy. Legendary.
Yeah.
I forgot you had that. We didn't do a legendary segment for sure. But the match was over, and I was like, yeah, Theory. And then I thought about it. I'm like, this dude has had the belt for 8 months. 8 months. Think about that. 8 months.
Yeah.
That's almost a year. What the hell has he done? Like, it just, like, literally, sorry, I'm like dying from how sad I am at the fact that my boy has an 8-month IC title reign and has done nothing with it. And I realize it's because that's all they're giving him is big wins. He gets a win, moves on. Gets a win, moves on.
Yeah,
He needs a rivalry, a feud, a something to make. That's the difference. Gunther's not just beating fools. He has rivalries and beefs and a tag team and a crew, and it makes him feel more important, and he embraces it more. Theory's just beating guys. He's wrestling and moving on with his life. He does his little flex now, and he's an awful beard, and he's all steroided up. But he's not really doing much than that. He's just kind of winning. And I just wanted to say, F you very much, Shooting Star Press, for making me realize that Theory's reign is pretty much meh. It's not bad. It's just meh.
It's missing something. It needs that.
That's what it is, right?
It needs that spark. It needs that rivalry. It needs, and I feel like he had that when he was on Raw a little bit when he was but Seth Rollins had the belt. Seth Rollins had the U.S. title, and Austin Theory was going out, and like they had the titles, and it was Theory chasing after them, and they had multiple matches. But now, since he's won that belt, it's just been, match done, match done, match done, and now they're, Pretty Deadly's rolling with him, but like that's just, you talk about randomly thrown together teams, like that's just a random pairing too, and I don't know, I love Austin
Are they
Theory.
A crew?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
They've helped them a few times, and
but they never, like, you never see them interacting backstage. They don't have any promos. You don't see like, hey, thanks for that, but I didn't need your help. The typical WWE, I could have done it alone. But I love Austin Theory, and I think he's wonderful. I think he's great. But the way the U.S. title has been, it's second fiddle, maybe even third fiddle to the IC title and the World Heavyweight Championship, and even Roman's belt. So that would put him fourth on the level of importance. And
it's above the women's tag team titles, though. So
and that probably below the women, the undisputed tag team champions too, with KO and Sammy. So
it's probably below that.
Sure. So I don't know. It's just it just feels like ever since they brought the World Heavyweight Championship over, the U.S. title is kind of the one falling by the wayside. The IC title still remaining important. The tag titles are still main eventing shows. They main event at WrestleMania and Night of Champions. The Intercontinental title's doing its thing. The World Heavyweight Championship is still doing its thing. Roman obviously is doing his thing. But Theory is he's getting big wins, but there's no actual rivalry. He's kind of like our boy in AEW, Orange Cassidy. It's just, he wins and moves on, wins and moves on, wins and moves on. And it's starting to be a little flat.
I agree. All right.
Oh, I want to talk the highlight of the night for me on Monday Night Raw.
No, SmackDown.
Oh, right. SmackDown. The Grayson Waller effect. This, my friend, I've been dogging the Grayson Waller effect since its debut on the main roster, but this was fantastic. I thought this was the best one that they've done, and he's been doing it every week. It feels like since he came over to the main roster. He had one with AJ Styles, he had one with Charlotte Flair, he had one with Logan Paul recently, but this one with Edge really just, I feel it felt like the classic Grayson Waller effect that we grew to know and love on the NXT brand, where, he was that heel. He wasn't playing the, oh, Charlotte, woo, oh, I'm so excited you're here. Like, this is the time where you cheer and you start marking out. Like, this was, all right, Edge, cut to the chase. Are you going to retire or not? Like, what are you doing? Like, stop wasting these people's time. Like, it was perfect. And then Edge was like, what are you talking about? Retiring? Like, all of it
he actually announced his retirement. For Edge. He was like, I got a big scoop.
You're retiring.
It was like that movie, what is it, Wedding Crashers, where Bradley Cooper's like, we're getting married. Is that the one? I think so. And the girl's like, we're getting married? What? Yeah, it's like...
Yeah, that's Wedding Crash. Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot Bradley Cooper was in that movie, but
yes, he was.
Yeah, he was like the villain in that one.
The douche, yeah.
But yeah, like it was. I'm digging the. I dug this. I thought this was classic Grayson Waller, and then it led to a match between Grayson Waller and Edge, and I actually liked the match too. And you know, the I like that Grayson Waller was the heel, but he really brought it. He that was probably. I mean, that match showed what Grayson Waller is capable of doing in a wrestling ring. You know, it showed why he was one of the faces of the NXT brand, why he kept wrestling guys like Carmelo Hayes and guys like Braun Breaker and Johnny Gargano and all these guys, because they all love working with him because he's just so good in the ring. And Edge, of course, he's still got it, and I thought he brought it as well. But the one thing that I didn't like at the end was the post-match promo with Edge, where he just grabs the mic and says, "Grayson, you swam," because he was talking about swimming with sharks and how Grayson Waller hasn't done that since he's been over on the main roster. And Edge beat him, but I get it was a sign of respect from Edge, the babyface to the heel, but I don't know. I liked it, but I didn't like it, but I thought the match was great. But I felt like they could have had Grayson say something a little heel-like to kind of continue this little rivalry. I want to see more Grayson Waller and Edge. I think they have a good chemistry. I think they have a good dynamic. And I wish it was Grayson Waller that maybe grabbed the mic and said, "Hey, Edge, you swam," or something like that, just to really stroke that fire and maybe get another match, maybe at SummerSlam coming up between these two guys.
So we're like polar opposite on this, just so you know. So, except for the Grayson Waller. I love the Grayson Waller fact. I thought it was awesome. Edge always kills it. Dude's a vet. Like you said, Grayson Waller wasn't being all cheesy and stupid and blah, blah, blah. He was being heelish still and aggressive, and that's what led to the match. But I don't like him wrestling Edge in his first ever match on the big stage. I thought Grayson Waller should get a win in his first match. So this was his second match, his third match. I'm okay with that, but I don't appreciate the whole, him losing his very first match. And I don't care who it is or that he had a great match, because he did have a great match. 100% he had a great match. So I'm all for that. I'm all for the great match. I just don't like the fact that he lost it. Let him get a win first and then lose it. But with that said, I'm for the you swam, because I don't think they're going to interact anymore. I think that was an Edge being like, "You swam, like, you're welcome. I just gave you a phenomenal match. You almost beat me a few times. I got the win, but now you're a star, kid. Now you're going to win a few more matches after this or get a streak going, and now you can get over the fact that you're just the talk show host." So so we're like polar opposites on this. Like, I didn't like the fact that he lost the match, but I like the fact that he got the rub, and I think he needed the rub. And I think he showed that he can go out. Dude is like almost Logan Paul athletic. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, and I know people
listening
are going to be like, "Are you serious? You're going to compare Logan Paul?" Logan Paul's ridiculous. Logan Paul's more athletic than Ricochet. Sorry to tell you guys. So Grayson Waller's like that. Dude can go. So I like it. I love it. And I look forward to seeing what Grayson Waller's going to do next. So
yeah, no,
sure.
I thought it was good. I thought it was all fun. And yeah, Grayson Waller's got a bright future. And I've been critical of him in the past, and I haven't been saying that so much. I've been questioning why they've been using him the way that they have, and this was the best use of him, and I love it, and I hope, like you said, I want to see more of it. You liked it, you loved it, and want some more of it, as Kenny Chesney.
Sir.
I think it was Kenny Chesney.
I don't listen to Kenny.
Or Billy Ray Cyrus. That's who it was. Billy Ray
that's
Cyrus.
even better. That's even better. I know his daughter. All right. So anyway, let's end SmackDown. I think we're both going to talk about the Bloodline. And I'm going to talk about this tribal court. And I want to talk about the tribal court. The first thing I want to talk about is the fact that this tribal court was hyped for like a week or so, right? Then Roman Reigns, when he finally talks, instantly shuts it down. He's like, "This ain't a tribal court. I'm the tribal chief. You ain't the tribal chief yet, so this ain't a tribal court." Wah, wah. There it went. No tribal court. We're literally just having a promo. So they hyped up the tribal court for literally no reason. Roman Reigns shut that down instantly. But with that said, can this storyline possibly continue to get better? I don't understand how it's still working. This stuff should have died months ago, and it is still rolling. And now we have it where it looks like it's ending, and then they have this segment, and Jay shows out. He gets a huge pop. People are giving me crap on TikTok. Follow me on TikTok. Y'all can see our things right here.
Yep.
And literally been giving me crap on TikTok about how Jay ain't that man. Jay ain't that dude. I think you posted it on our YouTube channel as well. Jay ain't that dude. Jay ain't that dude. Jay's that dude. He cut a phenomenal promo. He's in phenomenal shape. Roman's cutting his great acting where he looks like he's scared and fearful, and the crowd was loving him. Jay cut it good. Solo's looking like a star again. Once again, Solo doing big things. He looks fearful. He's hesitant on if he's going to take over. Pick it up. Pick it up. He was going to pick up that, but then he handed it over. But yet he still gave his Samoan spike to everybody, cutting it up. They beat the living snot out of Jimmy, who's, I think, injured, right? So he ain't coming around. So cut that. That's good, though, right? Looks like they beat the snot out of him. This thing is just going up, up, and up. I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen. Are we going to have Jay dethroned, which should happen? Are we going to have Roman beat Jay? Are we going to have The Rock get involved? Are we going to have Rikishi get involved? Are we going to have Fatu come over from wherever organization he's in right now, come over to WWE? Are we going to have, like, what is going on? But I'm intrigued. And the fact that over 3 years and I'm still into the storyline just shows how flipping the NWO, y'all, it didn't last no 3 years. Don't get it twisted that you think it did from like 96 to 2001. Nah, it was all over the place. It didn't last that long. This storyline is 3.5 years now, straight. Yeah. And it survived COVID. It survived after COVID. It survived with you as the leader. It survived everything from Sami Zayn to Paul Heyman getting kicked out to this thing has been all over the place, and it is still rocking. I like the Tribal Court. I like what they're doing with it, and I know you're going to talk about more of what you like, but you with me on this? Or are you bored of it? Is Solo going to take over? That's
the thing I like about it is we don't know what. Just when we think we have a clear path of what direction we're going to go on, we have no idea. Is Solo going to take over? Is Jimmy going to take over? Is Paul Heyman going to take over? Is he going to leave the tribal chief? There's all kinds of warning signs there, and there's all kinds of cool things to see, and you don't know what direction it's going to take you in, and I absolutely love it. Yep. The one thing I really appreciate from this whole story too is the acting. Sometimes it's, sometimes wrestling.
You talk about Jay. People crap on Jay's acting, but okay.
Yeah. I'm going to talk about Jay. I'm going to talk about all of it, but a lot of time in wrestling, I feel like the best storytellers are not usually the best actors, and sometimes it can be a little cheesy, and it feels a little just formulaic. But this storyline has been well acted from the very beginning, from everything that's gone on. Roman Reigns. I want to talk about his acting ability. That man cried on cue.
Legitimately.
He had a tear rolling down his eye when he dropped to a knee. He gave the lay to Jey Uso, and he dropped to a knee and had a tear come down his eye. You don't see that in wrestling these days. You don't see you either see them overact a little bit, you see them act very upset or mad or come out here and fight me, that kind of anger, but you don't see that pure emotion in wrestling these days anymore. And we saw it in that segment with Roman Reigns that, like, I almost and it was perfect because there's movies, Breaking Bad, and TV shows, Breaking Bad. There's movies where, like, the Departed. There's other movies out there where you're almost rooting for the bad guys, and you kind of feel sorry for the Walter Whites of the world when they finally get what's coming to them and what they're finally getting caught. And in that moment, I almost felt bad for Roman Reigns. Like, oh man, he's not the tribal chief anymore. He's really giving this over to Jay, and I almost felt bad for him. And then he low blows him, and starts that whole beatdown of the and then it was just like he flipped the script and went back to being the angry Roman that we all know and love, and it was fantastic. All of it was well acted, it was well rehearsed, and it came off perfect on screen, and I dug every bit of it.
They always got to go with the nut shot, huh? He's like full blown crying. You're all into it, and then it's like boing.
Yeah.
Like why everybody gotta do the nut shot? Like not like a solo chair shot or no. It's always like the.
But everybody does the chair shot to him, so he's like, I gotta have. He's like, I gotta have a thing. I gotta have something. So he's always nut shotting people. But I mean, but the raw emotion and the acting, it's all been fantastic, and you don't see that in wrestling. And give the man an Emmy. I know that WWE.
I said it before. Yep.
You know, I know there's a writer's strike, and I don't know if I don't think they're part of the union. Otherwise, we wouldn't be watching WWE right now. But
yeah.
But give the man an Emmy. I mean, he at least nominate him for it. He deserves it. He's doing this crap week in and week out. It's fantastic, and he deserves it.
The Bloodline storyline deserves an Emmy. I've been saying all of it forever. Yeah. It's just phenomenal shit. So yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I know you're going to end it with the Bloodline. Let's go.
Yeah. I want to talk more about Jey Uso. And, you know, you think he's that dude. I think he's that dude. Yeah. And I loved his promo there at the end of SmackDown when he came out. Roman came back out with Solo and basically was talking about how he's the tribal chief and he ain't going anywhere. And this is his ring. This is his. And then Jey Uso's music hits and they're all looking around for him. They think he's coming down the stage, and you know everyone's like the camera's painting all around. And all of a sudden, you see Jey Uso coming out through the crowd, and then him and his brother fight again, and then he gets away from Solo and he goes after Roman Reigns, and they start fighting, and Roman retreats but leaves the belt in the ring. Jey Uso picks it up, he yells to the audience, and he grabs the mic and says that you might think that you're the tribal chief, but right now I'm the tribal chief and I'm the judge, jury, and executioner. And he held the title up. He's like, it's all about this. And Roman, you can see Roman, he's yelling at him. You can hear him saying, put it down, put it down. Like that's all he cares about is his undisputed championship. And again, it's perfect acting. Jey Uso has done fantastic. He has gotten better and better and better. I think he is that dude. And I don't know if SummerSlam is the time for him to dethrone him. I think it's a little too soon, even though Roman's held the belt for 3.5 years. So that sounds weird to say, but I don't know if it's SummerSlam's the right time, but I think Jay's the right guy to do it. I think you got to give Roman the win from Money in the Bank back. And then maybe Jay's the one that finishes the story at WrestleMania 40 or something, but I don't know. But I love this. The ending ended perfectly. We're getting Jey Uso versus Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. Like, I'm going to write WWE a blank check. They just put whatever amount of money they want on there and sign me up and take it because I'm here for it.
I agree. And they didn't seem to be hinting at Jey versus Roman at SummerSlam yet. So maybe they're not. I think it's too soon. I'm just saying that when Jey gets a shot, he needs to be the one to do it. I don't think Cody's that guy. I don't think Cody should win. I think it's stupid if they give it to Cody because he's not even involved in this. And it's just not going to feel right. They already had Roman get pinned by Jey. Just have Jey do it. Then Cody can take it from him. I don't know what they're going to do. We'll see. But and have Cody maybe win Mania. And that's probably what's going to happen. But I don't know. But yeah, I agree with you. I'm digging it all. I'm loving Jey's acting. I know some people think it's over the top, that he's still doing like the weird faces and the hands. It is what it is. I think it's all great. And I'm here for it. Take my money too, man. Take it all, man. Take my kids' college tuition. Let's go, WWE. Let's go.
At it.
Let's go. All right. Let's go into Monday Night Raw. This was 3 hours of jam-packed everything. They were trying to fit as much as they can. Some stuff was long. Some stuff was super quick. They were trying to push stories around. I want to talk about something that I didn't even think was going to happen. I watch a lot of wrestling. I'm not going to lie. Sometimes I go make a sandwich. Sometimes I make a drink. Sometimes I check my, TikTok to make sure people are following me. And there was a match between Zoe Stark and Becky Lynch. And that was a time where I was like, all right, I need to like yawn, stretch, get a drink, make a sandwich, say, hi to my neighbors, whatever it was. And I was kind of half watching this match. I'm almost fully invested for Trish Stratus being out there because I would, I'd follow Trish right into a volcano. But Zoe Stark beats Becky Lynch. And I'm not going to say that this is like cheap. Trish Stratus jumped up and distracted, but she didn't like hit Becky with anything. And this is a clean win, in my opinion. And okay, I just got to say, I know it's hard to think about certain things as wrestling fans because you watch it happen so fast. You know, you're invested, but you're truly not caring as much as you probably should about these people. But Zoe Starks was on NXT. She never won a belt. She never really did much, but she was always loved, right? She was that girl. People knew she had it, but she wasn't really getting that rub. She got nice booty. Other than that, you know, she wasn't really like she does. And she wasn't really like, you know, wasn't getting the love. Yeah. Oh, yeah. She wasn't getting the love she deserved. Like, you know, like other podcasts loved her, professional wrestlers loved her, but she wasn't really getting that NXT love. And she comes over to the big show. She gets drafted, and you're kind of like, okay, good. Maybe she'll get a chance. And they pair her up with Trish freaking Stratus. Just think about your profession and what you do, and then think about the best of that profession, right? Just picture it, and that's who you're working with. That's what Zoe Starks got. And not only that, but a full-time Trish Stratus. Not like a part-time Trish Stratus where she's the Rock and she posts up every once in a while. This is a legit full-time Trish Stratus with Zoe Stark. Number one, Zoe Starks has gotten that rub. Number two, she then wrestles probably the biggest our generation right now superstar in Becky Lynch. I think Becky Lynch is bigger than Charlotte. I'll die on a grave with that. And she pins her basically clean. Zoe Starks is doing something right. I don't know what she's doing, but she's doing something right. She deserves it for one, but she is doing something right. More the power to her. But this one was huge. And I don't just want to give props to Zoe Stark because I thought they had a pretty good match, actually. I know people were like, I thought it was a good match. And I got to give props to Becky Lynch for taking that L. You know how many big people honestly, Becky Lynch is bigger than Seth Rollins when it comes to women's wrestling, right? Becky Lynch is the, you know, she's close to being the Roman Reigns of the women's division. I mean, I know there's no Roman Reigns, and I know people are sleeping on Roman. We can get into that later in another show, but she got pinned, but she allowed the pin, which most people wouldn't do. My greatest of all time, Shawn Michaels, laid down for absolutely nobody. He wouldn't take a pin if your life was on the line. You can give Homeboy $10 million on the side and you got to take a pin. Like, so pin to Zoe
SummerSlam, what was it? Against Hulk Hogan?
With Hogan? Yeah. I know he took it all right, but yeah, that's what happens when you take that L. Don't mess with HBK.
That's right.
If you haven't seen that SummerSlam match, watch it.
Go watch it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And the fact that Shawn Michaels was able to sell it so stupid, but it still looked like a match is flipping why Shawn's the greatest of all time. And props to Hogan for staying in it because you know the whole time he was like, this mother.
I know.
Son of a bitch.
How he was able to do that, I don't know. But
Shawn was like, he took a leg drop, got up, did like 4 backflips, and fell back down for like a pin. It was like insane.
We should do a watch along of that one.
For that SummerSlam, I think we should. We've only done one, and it was Shawn versus Brett. I think Shawn versus Hogan. That's a fun match, dude. And the build up to it, and maybe the history of why Shawn did that. But you know. But anyway, Zoe Starks beats Becky Lynch. I think this is huge. I was half watching it, and then when she won, I'm still kind of in awe at the fact that Becky Lynch took the L. It continues a rivalry. Good on Becky. Becky took the L, and now it feels like Zoe Starks is like a credible person to help Trish Stratus. Not just Trish Stratus anymore. Now you know, don't mess with Zoe Starks. She just pinned Becky Lynch. So,
yeah, I just want to see what happens next. You know, that's the thing. I don't want this to. I don't want people to forget about this win. And you know, now Zoe Stark, she gets it, and we forget about it, and it's nothing after this. I want to see WWE actually build her, and I want to see her, you know, rub this win in Becky Lynch's face and continue this rivalry. Well, I don't want this to. I don't want Trish and Becky to overshadow the rise of Zoe Stark, and
I agree.
I hope that doesn't happen. I love Trish, and I'm glad she's back, and she's doing phenomenal work, and she's been great. And thank you, Trish, for everything. And you know, she is, you know, what she's doing for Zoe Stark's career. She deserves to be thanked for because just giving her that big rub. And yeah, but again, I just want to see her. I want to see Zoe. I want to see WWE build Zoe Stark from here. You know, I don't want to see this just become a obsolete point in 3 weeks that we're not talking about. I want to see Zoe Stark come out and, you know, go after the women's championship. Say, you know what? I beat the true face of this division, Miss Rhea Ripley. I beat her last week, and maybe start something with Rhea or something. I don't know, but just I want to see them after this Trish and Becky stuff is over and Zoe Stark and maybe whatever happens with her alliance with Trish, I want to see her get really built. And I think this was a good way to truly build her into a credible threat. And I hope WWE takes advantage of it.
I agree. Well said. Well said.
And for me, I want to talk about the Imperium versus Matt Riddle and Drew McIntyre match. And I was kind of in on this match. I'm excited to see Drew McIntyre back. I think this is all leading to obviously Drew McIntyre versus Gunther at SummerSlam for the Intercontinental Championship. Gunther, we talked about the IC title and the US title. Gunther and Drew McIntyre have history. They have a rivalry. They were big, they wrestled each other at WrestleMania with Sheamus in there, and Sheamus and Gunther had a rivalry going in from Clash of the Castle. So that's what Austin Theory's missing. But I thought the Riddle and McIntyre match, Riddle did his thing. He's a little cheesy, over the top, whatever. I'm not big on Riddle, but I thought McIntyre looked good in his first match back in quite a while. And I was excited, but then now I'm kind of worried about Imperium, because after Imperium lost, we saw Gunther kind of laying into and yelling at Vici and the other guy, and makes me wonder, just is there Baldy? Yeah.
No, Vinci is Baldy.
Yeah.
The same guy twice. Yeah.
Vinci and what was the other guy's name? God, I can never remember their names. I just know him as Imperium.
Yeah. That's all you need to know him as.
Yeah, but it just makes me wonder. Ludwig Kaiser, that's who it is. Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci. But it just makes me wonder, like, is Imperium going to break up? Is there trouble in paradise with another faction in the WWE? Why are all these factions teasing breaking up at the exact same time? We've got the Bloodline deteriorating, and Damage Control is, I don't even know if they're a thing anymore. And now, Schism on NXT, every week it's a loser leaves NXT match. And, I'm sorry, guys, I'm really letting us down. You guys don't deserve me. Okay, get out of here with that. And now Judgment Day, Finn, I can't believe you were going to cash in the Money in the Bank briefcase and you cost me my World Heavyweight Championship. Like, there's just all this stuff. All these factions are like breaking up. And now you're teasing a potential breakup of Imperium because they lose. Now, I do see where Gunther's coming from, because they do lose a lot. They're the losers of the group. They didn't beat KO and Sammy. They lost to Riddle and Drew McIntyre on Monday Night Raw. They've lost to the Brawling Brutes before. I mean, they are the enhancement talent of the Imperium. So I do think they could be booked a little bit better. I think they could be booked a little bit stronger. Especially because of Gunther's rise, and I think you got to have a solid faction if you're going to build Gunther. I think you need to have two credible people behind him, and the tag team division needs some depth, and I think these guys could add a lot to it if they book them seriously. But I don't know. I just don't want to see another faction breaking up in the WWE.
Yeah, it seems like they're all breaking up, but then also at the same time, maybe not. I'll talk about Judgment Day next, and Damage Control seem to be clicking on all cylinders. I don't know. So who knows? But I agree with you. And we've been saying this forever about Imperium is, why are they always losing? Why do you have Gunther be so amazing and so strong, and then have his dudes just suck? That's like WWE 101. Like, you can never have, like, even, I'm looking right behind me right here. That's a Rocky Maivia Funko Pop. And, when he was in The Nation, before he was The Rock, I think that's when he became The Rock. And, they had Farouk, Farouk was losing everybody and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And Rocky Maivia was winning and D'Lo was winning. And you always got to have, like, somebody being the main guy and he's winning and everybody else got to suck. Why can't you just have a faction where everybody wins? You know what I mean? And that's what the Judgment Day needs to do. And we'll get into that. You don't always have to have winners at, like, DX. DX is perfect. Everyone in DX won. They were all champs. They were all winning. You didn't have, like, the New Age Outlaws sucking it up and only Triple H winning. You had them kind of, mixing that love. And Imperium loses all the time. And with the Ring General, you would think he would have been pissed off a long time ago with how big of losers Imperium is. And now all of a sudden. So maybe this is just a wake-up call. Maybe this is, like, the opposite. Maybe this is, like, okay, the Imperium lost again, but maybe now they'll start beating other people and build their way back up and kind of gain the Ring General's, I'm not doing that justice, but his, his love for them back. But they got to. We WWE. I know AEW has too many factions, but WWE, you don't have enough. Let's not get rid of the good factions.
Yeah, let's not get rid of any of them because you need them.
No. Yeah, exactly. And going into that, let's talk about one of the factions you need. Let's talk about the hottest faction in wrestling today. You heard me. That's the Judgment Day, my man. You know, you've been seeing my shirts. I got like 3 new Judgment Day shirts. I got one of everybody. And now I just ordered 4 more. And they just released a whole bunch of new shirts. You know, Dirty Dom got a new shirt. The Judgment Day has the 4 of them, like in little fun pictures. They got Mommy's Always on Top. And they got Senor Money in the Bank. I'm assuming they're not breaking up if they just release 4 new shirts. Because if you're releasing 4 new shirts, you know what that means? That your merch is selling. That means that they're Judgment Day fans and that they're hot. And they have been hinting at Judgment Day breaking up. They had Damian Priest come out and basically make one of the worst matches of Money in the Bank. And for whatever reason, Finn Balor just stared at him and then, I don't know, lost.
Yeah.
But either way, yeah. They started off with the bickering, but you know what? This was a huge night for Judgment Day. They opened up the night. They have new merch. They made up, and it looked like a true makeup. I know that, Damian said that whole, like, at least one of us, and then Finn did the, but they went into the match. They won a triple threat match against Sammy, KO, and Seth. That is huge. I did not think they were going to win. They won that match, and they won that off of a Damian Priest finisher into a Finn Balor finisher. Teamwork, they high-five. Teamwork makes the dream work. They hug. This is the way you need to build Judgment Day. You have Finn Balor, a future Hall of Famer, a stud, the man, and a man who could be the champ whenever he wants to be. You got Rhea Ripley, who is literally a modern-day China, and that's no disrespect to Rhea Ripley. It's the fact that I'm saying that she could beat a dude, a female, anybody, and she's pure dominate. Rhea Ripley will hold that belt until she chooses not to. You got Dom Dom, who's literally the future of the heel business, doing it right, perfect, and hooking up with Rhea Ripley. Sorry, homeboy in AEW, Mr. Buddy Murphy. And then we got Damian Priest, who just won the Money in the Bank, Senior Money in the Bank, who is going to cash in at some point and do good for himself. You got 4 people with maybe JD McDonough adding in. This is like prime time. This is very, dare I say it, evolution. This is like a very good group of dudes who look like sooner or later we will look back and say, this is when they all started. This is when they made that, and this is where they are today. I love it. Do not break them up. We'll get into more, but they got to continue this. Stop having them flipping lose. Stop having Dom lose the Cody clean at Money in the Bank. Stop having Finn Balor fight for titles. He's just going to lose. And once we get into NXT, I'll talk more about it. But I liked what was going on. I thought they had a huge night, and I like that it ended with them being on the same page and not another stupid hint of them breaking up because they need to do long-term story. This needs to be bloodline long-term storytelling. I'm saying, let's get not 3 years, but it needs to be long-term. It cannot just end in a month. If you're going to break them up or kick Finn out, then let's leave this on for a year. Damian has that briefcase for a year. Let's keep this going and see what happens.
Yeah, I'd be down for that. Yeah. Yeah, and we just had a story similar to this that they just wrapped up with Edge being out of the Judgment Day, and they finally wrapped that up at WrestleMania. And again, another questionable booking decision. Finn Balor should have won that match against Edge in Hell in a Cell.
Should have beat Ray.
Yeah, 100%.
Don't get me started.
But I'm glad the Judgment Day got the win, and I thought it was a solid. Apparently the match afterwards, there was some backstage tussle between the 6 guys. There was like a big argument and stuff. And, I did notice a little bit watching the match. It did look a little clunky. It did. There were some missed spots. And
are you talking about all the backstage gossip?
Yeah, like the gossip.
But didn't they claim that was all fake and a lie?
Then it turned into well, that was just all 6 guys are perfectionists, and they were just having a a thing like a hashing session of like, this could have gone better and we could have done this better. And so it was much ado.
Change of plans with 1 second, like
yeah,
supposedly walking out to the ring, people were being told to do stuff like, nope, change it.
Yeah. And so that, I'm sure people were frustrated about that. But I mean, I thought for the most part, I thought this was an entertaining match. But I do agree with you about Judgment Day. I think that they got to end the night on a victory. They got to end the night looking solid. They looked solid throughout the entire show too. It wasn't just the match. It was the opening segment, like you said, with and then they had the beat down of Seth Rollins, where the champ is getting defeated and the champ is getting beat down to the point where KO and Sami Zayn are like, okay, sorry, Cody Rhodes, like you're not our friend anymore. We're gonna go save this guy. And they go and save Seth Rollins and beat up the Judgment Day, and then that leads to a match with the Judgment Day, and the Judgment Day ends with the victory. And I think that's how you build a credible faction, especially when they come out every week and they say, we run Monday Night Raw. They proved it on Monday Night Raw. When they won, they looked strong and they looked good, and they were dominant throughout the entire night. And I thought they did a great job. Now, like I said about Zoe Stark, they need to do the same thing with Judgment Day. Build from this. Keep this momentum going. Keep them hot and keep them winning, because it's we've said this all the time. It's hard to take a group or a faction. We just talked about it with Imperium. It's hard to take them seriously when they're losing all the time. Judgment Day, they're winning right now. They're hot. You have the Money in the Bank. You have the guy who could be potentially the next World Heavyweight Championship holder. So build on. You have the greatest, the women's champion right now, women's world champion, I think is her title. So
I forget what
build on this momentum and keep the Judgment Day looking strong. And I think WWE would be better for it.
I agree.
And now I want to talk about the highlight of the night on Monday Night Raw, and that is Logan Paul versus Ricochet. Ricochet.
I think that's how you pronounce
it. Yeah. Which for the longest time, I'm going to be honest with you, like I thought his name was Rick O'Shea. That's like a WWE name.
His name's Rick and his last name's O'Shea.
Yeah, O'Shea, like
he's like Irish.
O'Shea. Yeah. And then I was like, and then I was like, Ricochet, that's cute. And then I was like, his real name, it really is Ricochet. I was like, okay. But anyway, Rick, I love the promo battle between Ricochet and Logan Paul. It was fantastic. I think I'm going to join the Logan Paul fan club. I'm already in the Dirty Dom fan club now.
Let's go.
I want to join the Logan Paul group. And, I said that Logan Paul was one of my highs last week, and I still hold to that. He is, every time he touches the microphone, every time he does anything in the WWE, it is gold. It is money. It is fantastic. He's great on the mic. He is a troll. He's an internet troll in front of a WWE crowd, and he feeds off of that and he runs with it, and it's fantastic. And the cool thing that I like about Logan Paul too is I personally think that he makes everyone around him better. When he was going after the Miz brought his A game. He made Seth Rollins better, in a weird way, because Seth Rollins wasn't really doing all that great at premium live events before he wrestled Logan Paul. He was, he would win a couple and he would lose a couple. I think he lost at every pay-per-view in 2022 or something like that. Seth Rollins did. And then, now look at Seth Rollins, and, you could say that Logan Paul is a big reason behind that. And I think he's doing the same thing with Ricochet.
Yeah.
Ricochet cut the best promo I've ever heard Ricochet cut. He showed the most personality I've ever seen Ricochet show. And I'm excited for this match at SummerSlam. I think it's going to be, I think it has the potential to steal the show between the two guys and their crazy spots that they do. I love the ending of the segment where Ricochet, just ran and flipped and landed right in front of Logan Paul. And Logan Paul even, continued to, he kind of dogged us a little bit. He said that, that was cool for TikTok, and I'm not a TikToker. I am a moment. I am the viral moment.
But he is a TikToker, but
he is a TикToker, but
that's how he got famous. But
I know, but he was dogging the Tiktokers. I'm like,
he was
now. Yeah. But what did the two dudes with attitudes ever do to you? But
I support him.
Yeah, we have a fan club. But it was he makes everyone around him better. I love the promo that Ricochet cut. Ricochet talked about passion and talked about how everybody has told him that he's never going to make it. It was the typical underdog. You're not good enough to be here. But I like those are usually the best promos that bring out the best in people because they're raw and they're real and they're not scripted. And I thought this was a great segment. And again, I'm looking forward to this match at SummerSlam. I think it has the potential to be the show stealer in terms of spots and matches. I don't the story. Jey Uso and Roman Reigns is going to steal the show because of the story, but I think the actual in ring is going to be Logan Paul and Ricochet.
I agree, and I think from now on, my son is like in love with Logan Paul. He's in love with Prime, so I have a boatload of Prime in my fridge. I think starting now, next week, every week on this show, WWE edition, I'm gonna drink a Prime until Prime sponsors us and Logan Paul. And I'm about to start making our new shirts. So we're gonna have all our shirts that you and I are gonna start rocking. And if people want them, we'll start selling them, giving them away. But I'm gonna make the Dom Dom fan club shirt. I'm gonna make a Logan Paul fan club shirt. Maybe I'll rock that too while I'm drinking all this Prime every single week. I'm gonna get this Prime going. Let's go, Logan Paul. I'm all for you. I'm a TikToker, but I'm also, the main attraction or whatever you want to say. I'm also that dude too. So come on, Logan Paul, let's go.
Come at us, bro.
Yeah, come at us
in a good way.
100%. Yeah. I mean, if you want to send your brother, I'd slap him around. But here's the thing, right? Logan Paul's never had a bad match, so this match is going to be insane. I worry for Logan Paul because they're going to do a lot of stuff. So hopefully Logan Paul is professionally ready for some of the stuff, and Ricochet's quick. I do think Logan Paul's more athletic, believe it or not. I get that Ricochet can do more flips maybe, but I think this match is going to be insane, and I think Ricochet's going to win, and I think that's going to give, once again, Ricochet another rub and I don't think wrestling fans understand how big Logan Paul truly is and how many eyeballs get put on the WWE when he wrestles. This is going to be legit stuff going on here, and I'm excited for it. I also like that there was a moment during Logan Paul's promo, which was which was legend. Wait for it.
Oh, yeah, let me get that.
Dairy.
It's going to be legend. Wait for it. Dairy. Legendary.
It literally was. That was his best promo to date. And there was a moment where he looked right at the screen and said, I am a WWE superstar. And I loved it because that was him basically saying, like, get over it, y'all. I'm here.
I'm here and I'm not going anywhere.
I'm signed. I'm not a part-timer. I'm a legit superstar. I love it.
Yeah, again, he's a troll. He's an internet troll.
100%
living the best life, and he is coming at us and giving the fans the medicine that they deserve. And
reminds me of The Miz, man. Reality star who's finally starting to get his niche. He's starting to get good on the mic. He's gonna be a champ one day. You'll see. People cracked on The Miz, man, and he's a Hall of Famer, so he will be.
I disagree with you though. I don't think Ricochet's going to win this match.
Oh,
I think.
Really? You think? Logan has Logan won?
That's the thing. Like, I feel like he's got to win a match at some point, right? Like we just talk all the time. It's hard to take somebody seriously when they lose all the time. And Logan Paul is having great matches. He's cutting great promos, but I do think it's time for him to start winning some of these matches that he's putting out. And I know he's not going to beat Seth Rollins, and I know he's not going to beat Roman Reigns. He was never going to beat Roman Reigns, but I think he could beat Ricochet. I'm not saying maybe it doesn't happen at SummerSlam, but maybe it happens at Payback or one of these other big pay-per-views that they're doing. Maybe the next Saudi show or Survivor Series. Make this a multi-match feud and let Logan Paul get some wins.
All right, I'm for it. All right, well, let's get on to NXT. You ready?
Yes, sir.
NXT, another good show, and I want to continue on my trend. I want to talk about the Judgment Day, and we just talked about how what's going to happen next, right? So when Starks wins, what's next? Judgment Day wins, what's next? Well, oh my gosh, this is what's next. They took over NXT. They were all over this piece, and wow. The only shocker was Carmelo taking the pin. What was that all about? What's the point of having Trick there if you're going to have him take the L? Trick took a brutal powerbomb by Damian where I don't know if that was meant to hit the corner, but it looked hard and awful. The table didn't even think about breaking. It was just stiff. But Carmelo took the L, but the win, they were all united. They cut a beautiful opening promo, and we got some things out of it. Well, for one, Damian finisher into Finn Balor finisher. So same exact way of Raw. So it ended the same exact way. Them on the same page, high-fiving. But are we going to get, dare I say, within the next month, are we going to have Judgment Day Tag Team Champs and North American Champ? Is this going to happen within the next month? Is this it? Is this the future? Because if so, let's do it. Because you can't have Dom lose to no freaking, why am I blanking on his name?
Wesley.
He's great. Wesley. I love Wesley. I love him. But he's had the belt forever. I thought he was going to lose at the last event because he's had it for so long. You can't have Wesley be Dom, right? We're not going to do that, right? But if you have Dom, are we going to have Judgment Day take over SmackDown and NXT?
I hope so.
That draft was pointless. So what do you think?
Yeah.
I mean, are you? I mean, they followed up Judgment Day. I mean, this was a Judgment Day back-to-back banger. I mean, this was like they took over the show. They were in charge of wrestling.
I hope they take over NXT, but at the same time, I don't want them to stay there. That's my only thing. Like, I want to see Dom back on Raw. If he wins the North American Championship, I don't want him. Like, not that. To me, I feel like it'll be what the fans wanted. Oh, he got sent back to NXT. See, he was never that good, and
but he can bring it to SmackDown.
Yeah, that's what I want him to do.
You can't have him lose. He's not feuding with anybody to have them interfere and cost him. So if you have Wesley just win clean, like he's got to win next week, right? I mean, I
hope so.
I don't see how he loses.
He needs to, unless that's when they implode, or maybe that's when they break up and Finn accidentally costs them, and that's when Damian comes out and they continue their bickering or something. But I think it's still too soon for that. I don't want to see that happen. Maybe JD McDonough costs him, and eventually that's, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just thinking outside the box here, but no, I want to see Dom have gold, and I've been saying this whole time.
That's a good first gold, right?
Yeah, to win the North American Championship and bring it over to Monday Night Raw. You have Mommy and Dommy holding gold.
Mommy and Dommy, dirty Dom, bruh.
Damian Priest holding the Money in the Bank, and Finn Balor going after Seth Rollins. I mean, it's all, Judgment Day could be what the Bloodline has been on SmackDown, which is they can hold every title in the company, and they're getting close to doing just that. So
I agree.
I want to see it. I want to see Dom. He deserves it too. I mean, the man is super over as a heel. Can you imagine if he brings that North American Championship to Monday Night Raw?
That's what I'm saying.
That crowd will eat him alive and tear into him, and he'll embrace it, and he'll cherish it, and it'll be fantastic stuff to watch. So I want to see it. I want to see Dom get some gold. It's time, and I think that's the perfect belt for him to get too.
And I'm seriously thinking they're going Damian and Finn as tag team champs. They had KO and Sammy lose to them, and they were in it. I mean, I know it was a triple threat, but yeah, I'm all 100%. So, I mean, maybe they're getting over the whole Seth and Finn thing. Maybe Seth's not ready to lose the belt. Why have Finn lose again? Why not have Imagine Finn and Damian as tag team champs while he has the briefcase, and they're maybe still kind of fused with. I mean, so many opportunities.
Yeah, no, I'd be down for that too. I think
it would end new titles, hopefully.
Yeah, and I think it would end all the speculation too that they're going to break up anytime soon. I think if they hold the tag team gold and Dominic's holding the North American Championship and Rhea,
they're all champs.
Yeah, that's what you want to see in a faction, and I think again, continue this momentum with Judgment Day. They are so good, and it's too soon to break them up.
I agree.
And then the last thing I want to talk about is Baron Corbin. He's going to become the new and improved Baron Corbin. He's dropping all these gimmicks, and we haven't talked about Judgment Day or NXT in a couple of days, couple weeks. Yeah, I don't remember the last. Yeah, I think it was
3 weeks, 4 weeks. Yeah, something.
It's been a while, and I think the last time we talked about him, Baron Corbin had debuted on the NXT roster with Mustafa Ali, and they had he was going after Carmelo Hayes, and then in that match against Carmelo Hayes, we never talked about this, but he brought back the Lone Wolf gimmick, the famous Lone Wolf gimmick that everybody loves, that everybody wanted to see come back, and he had a killer match with Carmelo Hayes. It was a good match, and Baron Corbin should have won, but he brought the Lone Wolf gimmick back. He dropped the stupid casino music. He got rid of the Happy Corbin stuff, and he was the lone wolf for one night. And now all of a sudden he is going to be the new and improved Baron Corbin. And they showed a video package of him basically getting rid of all the gimmicks and dropping everything. And, I'm intrigued. Yeah, he threw it all into a fire. He's burning everything. So I'm intrigued to see what happens with Baron Corbin, because I think, he needs a restart. He needs that fresh start. And I think NXT is the perfect place to get it for him. But I thought it was way too soon to get rid of the lone wolf gimmick. I don't know. I was a huge fan of that when he brought it over to the WWE in the first place, and then we all wanted to see him bring it back. He brought it back for one night, and now we don't get to see it anymore. And I don't know. I liked when he brought it back, and I wish we could have seen the lone wolf version of Baron Corbin in AEW. But I'm excited to see what he does next.
Yeah, I mean, me too. And I mean, this week he was all like confused. He was walking through his house. He wasn't burning stuff anymore. But I mean, I love Baron Corbin. I think he's the most underrated wrestler of all time. I've stated this numerous times. I was so excited to see him as a lone wolf, but I also was disappointed that he lost. Why bring it back if you're just going to have him job to Carmelo that first night? But now I'm thinking too, because as we're talking about tag teams, maybe he did that on purpose to do this, and maybe Carmelo's going to lose to Finn. Maybe Finn will be the NXT champ again, and we're going to have Finn Balor NXT champ. Damian Priest will cash in on Seth. Dom as a North American. I mean, why can't they just take over every show? They said they were going to do that. They said recently, we don't just own Monday Night Raw. We own WWE. We run the WWE. They run it all. So maybe that way they're hitting that, taking over everything. I mean, but I'm all for Baron Corbin coming back. I did want him as the lone wolf, but you know what? If you're gonna have him just trash it all and get a complete refresh, I'm for that too, because he's been so flippin' gimmicky, and he's too talented to be so gimmicky. And I know he won the Money in the Bank, and then he made a stupid comment. Was he the one about concussions? He was the
concussions one that, he played football, and he thought they were there's no such thing as CTE.
Mm-hmm. Come on, Baron. What a stupid comment to make. But let's just completely go against everything that we 100% know. But like, and it cost him his Money in the Bank and basically his career so far in WWE. He never really recovered from it, but he's supposedly within the ranks of professional wrestlers, not us fans. He's like the safest dude in the ring. His finisher is probably the most up-to-date finisher where it doesn't get kicked out of ever, except for once. He looks good. I don't understand why he's not that guy. So I'm kind of excited to see what he does next. If you're not going to do Lone Wolf, let's do something else, and let's bring him back and then keep it and have him run with it. And hopefully this is the new and forever Baron Corbin, and we're over punishing him for the past 8 years. He got the Triple H treatment.
I know. I just feel like we've seen this before with Baron Corbin. Like, oh, he's going away.
Well, did you see how many gimmicks he threw in there?
Yeah. I'm going away, and then he comes back and he's sad Corbin, and then I'm going away, and he comes back and he's happy Corbin. My luck has turned around. Then he's going away and he comes back and he's the modern day wrestling god with JBL. So that's the only thing. Like, we've seen this so many times with Corbin ending one gimmick and starting another. But I really hope that whatever WWE has in store for him, it sticks, it lands. I hope the fans like it, and I hope he keeps up with it, and he continues climbing up the ranks in NXT, because I still am in the camp that he shouldn't have lost to Carmelo Hayes.
I agree, and I love Carmelo. So, all right, that was a busy week. Are you ready for our new segment, everybody?
Yes, sir. I am.
Let's go. Let's hear. What's our new segment we're doing this week? It's like a tribute.
Yeah, let me get it.
We're doing a fun little.
Yeah, our boy Triple H just celebrated 1 year as the head of creative, the head booker of in the WWE. So we're doing a segment called "Bow Down to the King," and because we are going to talk some great stuff about Triple H. Bow down to the king. Bow down to the king.
Shout out to Motorhead. That song is fire.
I love. I think that song's better than "Time to Play the Game" by Motorhead. I think that's the best Triple H thing.
I think so.
King of Kings.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. But yes,
we're going to talk Triple H. We're going to talk things that we've liked in the year that he's been around, things that we haven't really liked, what's hit, what's missed.
I can't believe it's been a year.
Holy. It's crazy. It's
so
crazy.
We've been doing this for over a year.
We started our other podcast a year, yeah.
Oh,
and then we started
our other one. Okay, got it.
We started TikToking about a year ago.
Yeah,
and then we started and then we started this one in December. So the AEW one that drops is going to be episode 60. So we're almost at that century mark.
I can't wait for our 1 year. We're gonna party, y'all.
Yes, sir.
Our 1 year, I'll do the show naked. All right, let's.
There you go.
All right,
it's gonna be legend. Wait for it. Dairy. Legendary.
Barney would do it naked. All right, you ready?
100%,
Let's go. As always, we start off with the most handsome dude in the world, the honorary dude himself, Shooting Star Press. Are you just gonna throw him out there? Or are we gonna start with hots and then do knots? What are we gonna start with hots?
We'll start off with hots. Yeah.
Throw out all your hots, and I'll tell you if I agree or if I have new ones. Or what are your hots? Throw them out there. What has Triple H done well?
He's long-term storytelling. Yeah, that's it.
Sir.
That's all I've got. I mean, he is.
You have one.
That's the only. No. But he's brought back long-term storytelling, not just with the bloodline that's been going on for 3.5 years, but WrestleMania. He was the culmination of a long-term story between Finn Balor and Edge. The story that's been going on, since Edge brought the Judgment Day into the WWE and created the group, and then they kicked him out, and then they've been feuding ever since. He brought back long-term storytelling with the Seth Rollins Logan Paul match. I mean, they had some stuff that went down at the Royal Rumble. I mean, that's kind of sort of long-term storytelling from Royal Rumble to WrestleMania. It's about 3 to 4 months of build. I'm trying to think what else happened at WrestleMania, but it's just been a lot of.
You were there.
Long-term stories. Dominic and Rey. There's one. That's been a. Dominic turned on Rey Mysterio at Clash at the Castle in September of last year, and they separated them. They kept them separate. How they did that is beyond me, but they kept them separate all the way until April for WrestleMania because they wanted to have that match at WrestleMania Goes Hollywood in LA. So Triple H has brought back long-term storytelling, and that's been my biggest hot for him. And then, of course, the relevance and prestige brought back to the IC title and the US titles. Those have been a big hot for me. And he has, I think my favorite thing about Triple H that I give him so much credit for that I don't see a lot of people really giving him credit for. He does not. He doesn't really put his stamp on things. And I mean that in a good way. Like, he doesn't get tired of stuff. Vince McMahon would come in one day and say, we got to kick Sami Zayn out of the bloodline. I don't understand it. And instead, Triple H just lets things cook. And he lets things go where they go. And he doesn't end things abruptly because, I'm bored with it. It's time to move on. It's time to kick Edge out of Judgment Day because we want the Judgment Day to be supernatural. And then Vince gets fired, and that never happened, thank God. But it's just things like that. Triple H doesn't end things abruptly because he's bored. He likes to see things cook. He likes to let them marinate, and look at what has transpired because of that. You've had amazing segment after amazing segment after amazing segment with the Bloodline. You've had great stuff with Judgment Day. You've had great stuff with Rhea Ripley. You've had great stuff with Trish, and even the Bayley Damage Control stuff. Their promos have been great. So. Yeah, he doesn't end things abruptly because the fans don't like it, or he doesn't end things abruptly because he doesn't like it and he's bored with it. He lets a majority of stuff cook, and I appreciate that from him.
I agree with everything you said. And another thing that just to bring up your point before I bring up some of my hots, is that he also doesn't put himself out there all the time. Like, when Vince was running, we saw Vince all the time. And I don't want to dog Vince because Vince Stone Cold is probably the greatest rivalry in the history of wrestling, bar none. But Vince was always there, man. He was always. You don't see Triple H out here constantly on TV. He's been there when it's necessary. But other than that, you don't see him all the time. So props to him for keeping himself out of it. But some of my hots was, number one, he took over SummerSlam 2022, correct? It was like a day after he took over.
Yeah.
And he gave us Brock versus Roman, and that he already had to deal with. And everybody was like, Brock versus Roman. And he made that shit spectacular. That was the whole tractor lifting up the ring and Roman falling through and Brock throwing the mic and Roman catching it. And that match was their best match ever. And I just got to say, from the start, he had been killing it. He's done some amazing things like the rise of Dom Dom and Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley always should have been a star, and now because of him, she is. Dom Dom just getting the chance. He would have never got the chance under Vince. Seth being the champ. Seth would have been a champ millions of times under Vince. He really wasn't. I mean, he got the thing, but that was probably a Triple H rub as well. But them creating a belt for him, Seth deserved that. The whole Sami Zayn bloodline storyline, I don't think that would have happened with just Vince. And it worked so well, and the bloodline was dying, and Sami brought life to it. And I think that life is still continuing, because I don't think we would have the tribal court and all this other stuff going on if it wasn't for Sami Zayn. And I want to talk about Austin Theory. He literally, I know we were dogging him earlier, but in the long run, I thought Triple H killed Austin Theory's career by having him lose that briefcase. And I'm still eating my boot and hat and everything else since then, because Austin Theory's had an 8-month IC title reign. So once again, Vince here, he was a cell phone taken. And who was he with all the time on TV screen all the time? Oh, Vince. That's right. He was Vince's little puppet. So, I mean, I just got to say, Triple H has done a lot of great things. That's minimal from both of us. Long-term storytelling is basically mostly all of that. But, I mean, props to Triple H for that. But with the good, nobody's perfect, right? As Miley Cyrus once said, or Hannah Montana, nobody's perfect. I got to work it. So we also have some poor decisions. My man, what are some of your hots? Now you're nots. What are some of your mimis?
The comebacks.
We might have the same list.
Yeah. All right. The comebacks. And I'm not talking about the football movie that came out with Ice Cube a couple years ago. I'm talking about
nice.
I'm talking about the returns of, Braun Strowman. What's he been doing? Johnny Gargano. He wasn't even on Raw when it was in Cleveland just a few weeks ago.
He lives there.
Damage Control. I mean, they're jobbers. They're that's really what they are. They're enhancement talent. Poor Bayley, so much potential. Dexter Lumis had so many people excited about, when he debuted or returned on Monday Night Raw. He showed up in the crowd, interrupted the Miz and AJ Styles match, and security was taking him out, and Triple H had the car accident backstage the next week, and the hand that was at the exit sign, just like, whose hand was that? What's all going on? It was Dexter Lumis, and he was like breaking into Raw, and they never really followed up on that. And then
the NXT that we went to came out under the ladder and helped.
Yeah, it helped Indy Hartwell
win the belt. And what happened? Like, just because he's injured doesn't mean they can't be talked about. Yeah.
And now what's Dexter Lumis doing? I mean, I have no idea. It's just the Bray Wyatt. I mean, that's the biggest one for me. Yeah, Bray Wyatt. I forgot about him because it tells you just how much I don't really care about Bray Wyatt right now. But yeah, like Bray Wyatt had one match and a lot of build, and the return of Bray Wyatt is still one of my favorite returns of all time. The way it was done, the way it was produced, it was all great. It was the way they did it after the show went off the air and all this stuff. It was just great. And then what they followed up with and what they brought was just none of it was good. And the Pitch Black match was a failure as well, against LA Knight. And LA Knight's another one. I mean, LA Knight couldn't even. He's the most over guy you have on SmackDown. The fans are wanting to see LA Knight right now, and you don't even have him show up on SmackDown on TV. You have him in like a dark segment before the show starts. Like that's the SmackDown after Money in the Bank. Like the hottest guy, and you don't have him show up on TV. I mean, I was confusing by that. The draft is another one for me that has been a complete and utter failure under Triple H. It's been a joke. You've got people bouncing from show to show. When you said this was going to be exclusive, even the day after you said this, the World Heavyweight Championship is going to be exclusive to Monday Night Raw, you then followed up with a press conference saying the World Heavyweight Championship is going to be featured in a tournament, and you're going to have a winner of Raw versus a winner of SmackDown competing for this top prize. It's going to be defended exclusively on Raw. It's like you just talked out of both sides of your mouth, and now you have guys just showing up on show after show after show. So those are the biggest ones for me: the returns and the draft.
We're pretty much on the same page. The draft for one, yeah. What a disaster! And And I think it was more of a disaster because that was one of the few times that he appeared, and he hyped it up that it was going to be different than normal. No, it's the same. You guys ignored
exactly
it, and everything else you said with that. I agree with you on Bray Wyatt. Like, I, I've done this before where I've gone back and watched it. Go back and watch it. YouTube it if you have it somewhere and watch his return. It still gives me chills. I feel like John Travolta, they're multiplying, man. It's like, it is amazing. The crowd, the atmosphere. How did they get that wrong? And I know that now people are saying Bray's still injured, so it is an injury. That's why he's gone and this and that. But even up to it, like you said, he had returned and been around for 6 months and had one match. And if you're going to try to say he was not in wrestling shape, well, that's on you as well. As I'm in the field of being in charge, and you have people who aren't performing, you make them perform. Damage control. Holy cow! Talk about another huge. That was SummerSlam, correct?
Yeah, SummerSlam last year.
Mm-hmm. So another thing like the Brock and Roman, it was phenomenal. Bayley came back. They brought Io Sky in, and a Dakota Kai, and it was like ready to pump up with it. And
they turned heel Becky Lynch back into babyface Becky Lynch.
Yeah, it was. And what did they do with that? A couple of the different ones I want to talk about is the women's division, man. He has done shit with it. And like you used to say with Stephanie, and now Stephanie's gone because she was so into it. But if people want to say, well, there's Trish and there's Zoe Stark and, Rhea, okay. But what's going on with the women's tag team division? That stuff is whack. It's been awful. They've got no push. And I'm sorry to break it to you, just because, what is Asuka doing with it? What is the other title done? Rhea Ripley's done something, but she's done that herself. And even the pushes with him. How many times has Rhea defended it that's not Natalya? Like, so once again, this women division, he has not, in my opinion, done well. And then I'm going to talk about something that I'm surprised you didn't say. Cody Rhodes, man. You bring back, which supposedly was Vince, but supposedly Triple H, and you have Cody Rhodes, and you hype him the F up to have him lose to Roman at Mania, and then you have him become the new John Cena. And we didn't even talk about his promo this week on Raw in our segment today. Same shit over and over. They have ruined Cody Rhodes. And maybe Triple H is holding a grudge because he hit the chair when he went over the throne or whatever, blah, blah, with the hammer. And Cody Rhodes, to me, is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, failure of Triple H's tenure. But I don't want to end it. I've always been taught that you do the sandwich approach, right? The hamburger approach. You do a positive, negative, and a positive. I want to end it on a positive. I want to say thank you, Triple H, because WWE was falling to shit. And because of Triple H, and I'm going to say this, and you guys can quote me, because of Triple H, I think we are in competition with the Attitude Era of wrestling right now, because it made WWE better, which made AEW better, which made everybody better. And as fans right now, you are living an Attitude Era type of hype. And I'm going to stand by that. I think Roman might right now be bigger than Stone Cold and The Rock ever were. I'm going to say, people were going to give me shit probably and blow it up. You can. Look at the stats. Look at the merch sales. Look at everything that Roman has done. We are living in a time, and I lived through the Attitude Era. So don't even try to say I don't know.
Oh, me too.
I lived through it. I was there. I was old enough to understand it. So it's not like I was a baby. No, I was in high school, bruh. I lived through it. I get it. I think we are living in a great time, and I think that's all because of Triple H, because Vince's was gone, and Triple H made it important, which made the competition back like WCW and WWE was in their heyday.
Yeah, no, I think that's all well said. Triple H, to me, he's made watching WWE. But when Vince was there full time and head of creative, sometimes it felt like a chore to watch the WWE. Triple H has made it feel like a privilege. Now it's something I get to do, as opposed to something that, I got to do, I have to do. Now it's like, I look forward to watching Monday Night Raw. I look forward to watching SmackDown. I watch the entire shows too. I'm invested throughout the entire. Sometimes, do I tune off and do I do something else? Sure. But 90% of the time, I'm invested in the entire show. Whereas with Vince, you really only cared about the opening segment and the main event, and the rest was just filler. So Triple H has brought back a lot of fun. He's brought fun back to wrestling, and
I agree.
I thank him for that.
I agree. So thank you, Trips. Thank you for your year.
Bow down to the king. Bow down to the.
We're not worthy.
No, not at all.
We're not worthy. That's a Wayne's World reference, and y'all know. But anyway, all right, we got another show to do, so we're gonna end it here. It was a great WWE week. Trips' 1 year anniversary. Wrestling is kicking on all cylinders. We are blowing the F up on YouTube right now. At least in my opinion, we're just about at 400. We're getting tons of views. Thank you to everyone. Keep it coming. I hope you all are enjoying it. I hope you guys aren't just noticing us and following for the fun of it. I hope you're following because you're enjoying our content, what we talk about, that we're real. We don't just ramble. We're talking about stuff that is true and what we feel, whether it be positive or negative. No one ever gives it. I always take it as a positive. So I feel like if people don't like you, they're going to let you know. And if people do like you, they're not going to tell you.
No news is good news.
Yeah, people are afraid to talk positive, but they're not afraid to talk negative. That's the world we live in nowadays. So I take that as we're doing great. But yeah, keep subscribing, keep telling people. Thank you to everyone. Thank you for liking us, and we like you. So thank you for tuning in. And as always, I'm Mr. MWO, and with me is
Mr. Shooting Star Press. Our socials are right here on the screen. Go hit us up on Instagram and TikTok. Keep following us on the YouTube. Like he said, we haven't forgotten about Twitch. We're there too, so go hit us up over there.
Yeah, follow us on Twitch. What's going on?
And then Apple, Spotify, Google, everywhere you get your podcasts. We're audio as well, so we're blowing up there too. So people are getting the word out about us, and we appreciate all the love and support. And help us get this thing going, man. We love doing this.
Let's go.
So
Two Dudes Wolfpack. We
are out.
Two dudes with attitudes. Let's go. Welcome to the pod every Wednesday. Back to represent.
Who has theme music?
Nobody.
That's right. Except WWE superstars, AEW stars, Impact stars.
Came together on TikTok.